Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome to the March 17th, St. Patrick's Day edition of WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com and a bunch of other websites. I'm, as always, Ryan Clark. Jose Rivera, happy Thanksgiving. Happy St. Patrick's Day, my brother.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Happy Thanksgiving, dude. Where am I going with that? But what's up, man?
Nothing much. Another Tuesday.
Another Tuesday, dude. I'll tell you what. This is going to be tough because our producer, JMK, he took a trip out to Hawaii, I believe it was. So he's a couple thousand miles away from us. So I just figured out how to do this earlier this afternoon, how to produce a show, and we tested it out for the first time at about 6:30 tonight when we put the chat live, and there were a couple errors, but I don't know, we got through it. So we're here tonight. I'm gonna try to do things the normal way. I tried to play some pre-show music before we came on. I don't know how good it came through the actual theme. And then I had the theme song. It was an older version, but I found it on the computer just before we went live. So I figured, why not give it a shot, play it. Who knows how it sounded? I guess we'll find out on the archives. We got a lot to talk about, man. I mean, it's been crazy, huh? Tons
of things to talk about. A lot of good stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of sad stuff in the same process while we get closer to WrestleMania.
Dude, it's crazy. What are we? We're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. So we have next week's Raw, the Raw after that, and then what? 1 more week? I believe 1 more week, and then we have WrestleMania. Are we 2 weeks or 3 weeks? 3 weeks, right?
2 weeks. Yep, 2 weeks. I believe it's 19 days.
All right, so we've got next week's Raw, and then we've got 1 more Raw after that before we have the WrestleMania pay-per-view. So yeah, it's I mean that's coming up so fast, man. And every year at WrestleMania, I mean, you guys read the websites, you know what it's like at WrestleMania time. Man, yesterday I was up at about 9:30 in the morning, and I think I got offline last night at about 2:30, and it was just straight work all day, just news. It never ended, you know. And then you wake up today, and it's all new stuff, you know what I mean? So it's daily, man, daily, and it happens every year going into WrestleMania and then after WrestleMania, especially now because we're about 2 weeks away, so you'll start seeing especially when they get down into Texas, you know, down towards Houston, and then you get all the newspapers, and they do all the media interviews, so when that stuff starts coming out, and then the fan access thing that you're going to be at, so, I mean, it only gets busier from here, you know what I mean?
It gets crazy, it gets hectic. I mean, you got to follow not only the news that's surrounded by WrestleMania, of course, there's a couple of conventions around that same time period, so you're not just only inundated with WWE stuff, but of course, you know, there's that outside universe of TNA and among other independent promotions that are running around, especially around that time frame. So it's a crazy time of year. It's like Christmas for us right now.
Oh, dude, it is. You know, and I wish if only, you know, everything would be perfect right now if only the advertisers would advertise on our way. You know what I mean, man? You know what I mean? You own an advertising company, man. WrestleMania, we bank on this time, man. It gets so busy, and the advertisers right now absolutely suck. But no one cares about that, except for me, of course, because I own a website. But no. Yeah, so, I mean, like you said, we got a lot to talk about, some sad stuff with Andrew Testa Martin on Friday night. We're gonna talk about that, a real sad story there. That one kind of hit me hard because I had his email, and just about a year ago is the last time that I talked to him through email. So that was a little rough to see him go. But we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. We had Destination X, which I'll tell you what, man, you watched some of that, not all of it, right? But some of it.
I watch a few minutes of it, and
as much as you can tolerate, right?
Exactly.
No, so I don't even. I mean, I don't have a lot of thoughts on that. It was a boy. If you threw down the $29 or whatever it costs to order that pay-per-view, I feel bad for you. And you know, I'm one to put over TNA. You know, I like their product. I like what I see on a weekly Impact broadcast. But that pay-per-view, more specifically the ODB segment, was thank God for Jeremy Borash, because if it wasn't for him in there acting like a game show host, that I don't know where that segment would have gone. But that was one of the worst segments, and to have to see it on a pay-per-view, to have to pay $29 to see that, when that, in my opinion, would have been a horrible segment on an Impact, you know, and how they could put that on a pay-per-view is beyond me, but they did, and some of you guys paid for it, and in my books you got screwed. But nonetheless, we'll talk about that a little bit. I don't have any notes on it in the show file. That was basically the only thing that really ticked me off on that pay-per-view. The main event, I expected a heel turn, you know, a Foley or a Jarrett heel turn. Didn't happen. They actually watch Impact this Thursday night for more on where they're going to go with that. And then the only other match, Ultimate X, was off the chain, but you know, with those guys in there, the X Division guys and the wires above the ring, I mean, that really can't disappoint. And the ending spot of that match for Suicide came off the top and grabbed the X, jumped off one of the steel beams that they had set up in the corner, jumped off onto the top and grabbed the X. Did you see that match or no? You didn't.
No, actually, that's the only match that I'm left to see. Really? Actually, I have it right on my computer here, but I had to pause the entire pay-per-view. But that's definitely a match that I'm going to see by tonight, because I'm curious to see how that match. Usually, when you see that type of match with the Ultimate X, they're always put on the show.
Yeah, I know that, and they didn't disappoint on Sunday night. Everything else on that pay-per-view did disappoint, but the Ultimate X, they went out there and tore down the house. Let me St. Patrick's Day, baby, huh? How's your St. Patrick's Day, all right?
Excellent so far. I had a buddy of mine came over. We played a couple of games of MLB The Show 09. Yeah. Kicked his ass. It was fine. When we were 4-0 so far, I'm 4-0. But good so far, man. It's been busy. You know, WrestleMania and doing business and among other things and other fun projects that I'm working on here in Stamford.
Stanford. Dude, what did I hear? I heard something about Stanford. Something big about Stanford. It was on the news that they want to move something to Stanford.
The Jerry Springer show.
Jerry Springer, that's what it was. Jerry Springer. They want to bring Jerry Springer, the show, to Stamford, Connecticut. That's what I heard on the that's big news out there, huh? Jerry Springer.
It's going into there's two theaters here in Stamford, and the theater committee actually filed for bankruptcy, so they're trying to attract as many production companies to come down. But since NBC, GE, its parent company, is based in Fairfield, and NBC itself has kind of surrounded the city, it goes into like a long, lengthy 30% production costs they're going to get, or tax break for bringing. It's supposed to be Jerry Springer, the Maury Povich show, and I think there's a Wilkinson's or something like that.
Yeah, where's Jerry Springer based out of now? Chicago?
Chicago, yep.
Chicago,
and Maury. Chicago, and that Will show is in, should I say, Springer, and that Wilkins show is in Chicago, and Maury's in New York. They plan Jerry. Which is interesting because, you know, with being in Stamford and Fairfield County, one of the richest counties, you know, in the United States, at least that's what they claim. It's just interesting that popularity type of stuff comes down to Stamford, because this is just more of a political city that, you know, you kind of sit there and wonder. But actually, I was reading an article from The Advocate, which is a local paper here, and they talked about it, and of course they mentioned how WWE has kind of questionable content on their shows at times.
Yeah, no, well, that's weird, because I mean, you don't hear much about Stamford, Connecticut. You know, I mean, if WWE's headquarters wasn't up there, I mean, Stamford, Connecticut is known for nothing, Jose.
Nothing. I mean, for you, I mean, there's UBS, RBS. These are the third and seventh largest world banks. They're North American headquarters.
Okay.
Don't break it down. I'll break it down.
Okay, all right. You want to bring up Albany, New York, buddy? You want to see what's going on?
They're one of the
Albany,
safest cities in the United States.
All right. No, I mean you probably got a lot more than Albany, man. We've got nothing. Albany has nothing of it. We're just an old, run-down city. Yeah, state capital in New York, which it shouldn't be, man. I mean, obviously it should be in New York City, but nonetheless, they got us the state capital. But it's an
I've
old.
been to Albany actually for a pay-per-view. I think it was In Your House.
Oh yeah. We've had I mean, they do us good, man. They do us good for WWE events.